Thought seems to have a life of its own, just whirring away inside the mind like an inner voice. And I'm sure we've all had days when thought says, or in other words, we think, I'm useless, I'm no good at anything. These are thoughts which arise within the mind. And I honestly believe that some people, for whatever reason, experience this nature of thought more than the next person might, I honestly believe that. And again, because we think as I am useless, I am no good at anything, we take this as the truth because we don't realise these are simply just thoughts. And so our feelings, emotions, and even our actions are affected by these thoughts, And to make things worse, we then begin to consciously, knowingly think in a negative manner. So then we begin to question, why am I feeling down? And then we want to do something about it. We want to find some kind of distraction or entertainment because we're not aware that thought is what is causing us to feel down, If you're thinking about yourself or your life in a negative manner, of course you will feel down. Because notice when you're feeling good or feeling empowered, you don't question it. Because that is the optimal state to be in, right? Look, by me making these videos, I'm not trying to be some guru, but I can guarantee you this. If nothing has physically happened or been gifted to you, causing you to feel good about yourself, then it's the nature of your thoughts which have mustered up this good feeling inside you. And in the same way, if you're feeling down, maybe you've only just woken up first thing in the morning and you're feeling down. If nothing has physically happened, again, causing you to feel down, it's the nature of your thoughts themselves, which is causing you to feel down, feel low. See it for yourself. Let's say you're about to take part. Let's say you're about to take part in some kind of physical challenge, maybe. If you think to yourself, I am the best, watch me go, watch me do this, I've got this. If you think that to yourself, and those thoughts are the complete truth to you, you feel empowered. You notice that? Listen, thought is not the enemy. In fact, thought is completely necessary. Thinking is completely necessary to operate in our daily lives. And to think about sentimental moments of the past is a beautiful thing. But it's just when we're constantly consumed by nonsense, rambling thoughts on a daily basis, that's no good. That's a distraction from life itself, And how about this? Whatever or whoever you think you are, that's who you are. If you believe, you think you are. Do you see the madness of that? The whole paradox and, the complexity of it all? But the thing is, if you do see it, if you do comprehend all what I'm saying here, then it's really not that complex at all, Now, element 4, the perceiver, the mind itself. Maybe it's wrong to call the mind itself an element. Maybe that's not correct, but ultimately this is what you truly are. This is what I am. This is what we all are. And notice I'm exaggerating the word what. Because if I were to say it's who we truly are, well, who implies a name. And we're not simply just a name, a word. The mind is the living element of the brain itself, the perceiving element of the brain. The mind itself, the mind as a whole, is the walls and the inner space in which all the other elements I've just gone into reside within. You know, all the elements make up the mind, and everything which makes you is within the mind. You are the mind itself. You know, do you see the truth of that? So if the mind as a whole was to be destroyed, it would be like a plug being pulled out, being turned off, you know, because the whole system, meaning the human body itself, would just shut down. You see that? Now look, I'll be honest, personally, I'm not into using conventional words such as spirit or soul, but conventionally, the mind itself might be referred to the spirit or the soul. Now, if everyone referred to themselves as spirit or soul, it would be extremely different to tell each other apart. You know, aside from our physical differences, of course, if everyone answered to the name spirit or soul, it would be very strange. So we're given different names at birth to tell each other apart. And, you know, of course, that is completely necessary. But without the name being given to us, we're just simply a human being. And as I've said in a previous video, if there was no brain, no mind inside the skull, behind our eyes, so to speak, then there is no perceiver to perceive the incoming vision coming in through the eyes. There is no perceiver to receive sound coming in through the ears. No perceiver to receive taste, touch and smell, because it is the mind which is the sensory perceiver. And you are your mind. If someone removed your mind, your brain, the body would just fall to the floor. It would be a corpse. I know that's morbid, but I tell you, the most fascinating thing is this. Not only can the mind perceive all of the goings on in the world around it, or to translate that, not only can you perceive all of the goings on of the world around you externally, but internally, you, the mind can also perceive, be aware of all its own movements, you know, all of its own elements in operation, in other words. Mainly the element of thought, but I tell you what, I'm going to repeat that. The mind, the mind can be aware of thoughts arising within itself. And in my opinion, it's for this very reason we have separated ourselves from our mind. And we'd say things like, I want to, but my mind won't let me. Because conventionally, you know, we wrongly mistake our thoughts for the mind itself. You know? But that's the trap. Because it's thought that thinks the mind is different from me. Or to put it in other words, you think your mind is separate from you. You think that. You confused? Look, let me put it another way. Let's say I become aware that I am experiencing nonsense thoughts. I then wrongly mistake those thoughts for being the mind itself. And so I then think I need to control my mind. So ultimately, what is happening is thought is thinking that it needs to control itself. But I am my mind. And those nonsense thoughts are just something which arise within me. It sounds like madness, I know. And I'll put a timestamp in the comments below so you can hear that section back if you're interested, of course. Because I can understand how, that might be confusing. But go slowly with it, Look, I tell you what, on the same hand, given all of what I've just said, if you are aware that thoughts are simply just thoughts, it's easy to fall into another trap. Meaning, if you're aware that thoughts are simply just thoughts, it's easy to then begin thinking, I need to stop thinking. Do you see that? And so then you go about your day constantly thinking about not thinking, which is still thinking. Do you see that? Sorry, just checking the time. Yes, it is strange. It's a phenomenon. Why do we have thoughts that just run rampant within our mind? Who knows? But we do, and it's a fact. And the moment you become aware of that as a fact, no suppression or control is needed. The awareness of that fact itself is liberation. So the question is this: is your mind aware of thoughts in operation? Or in other words, are you aware? Thoughts simply happen to you. Look, when we're born into this world, we're born without memories, without knowledge. We're simply curious, living, breathing, recording, memorizing, perceivers of vision, sight, in other words, sound, touch, taste, smell. And that's what we call a human being, before the individual labels, meaning our names, are attached to us. I hope you see the truth of all this within these videos. I apologise, this video is a bit longer than 10 minutes, but this is the final part of this understanding the human being thing. Yeah. I hope you see the truth of it all for yourself. All the best. Take care. And again, sorry again, it's longer than usual. Take care. All the best.